Hey guys, hope you're well. This is the latest episode of Doh I'm building a tractor. Last time you saw me, I was stripping basically everything that's not required off the back end of the front tractor. I've got that almost as far as I can at the moment. I need to drain the oil out of the back end. I was hoping I wouldn't have to, but I'm going to take that out. There was a few wee bits fell in it when I was taking that top off, which was a bit of a pig actually, a lot harder than I was expecting. There was just bits that were getting caught with circlips holding pins in, and then the wee pins dropped in the oil, so obviously I don't want to leave that in there, so I need to drain the oil, make sure I get every little bit out of there, clean it thoroughly, make sure there's nothing left in. But I don't actually have anything to put my empty oil into at the moment, so I was actually thinking as well, I'll maybe take that trailer port off when I'm doing that. That's just coming off the back end, so I'll probably just blank that off and get rid of it, because like I said, it's not really serving any purpose for me at all. So I'll get rid of that, strip it basically so that only everything that I need is on here. I'll be putting a blank plate on top of what used to be the hydraulic top. So like I say, I'm kind of as far on as I can with that. So tonight I am going to start thinking about getting brackets made on first tractor. I'll maybe actually adjust you so that you can see a little bit better. If you can see there. So I can kind of show the plan. You can see the bell housing, this bell housing here. So my plan is to get some 12mm flat plate steel and basically make a bracket that I'll run from this side rail straight across, cutting down along the front of this bell housing, bolting into these bolt holes, back up onto the other side, and then I'll also take another one from the front here onto where the front axle used to bolt onto. I'm not sure, there's a bracket in the way there a little bit that holds the front nose cone and the radiator, so I'm not sure whether I'll just make a bracket with two individual flat plates, one on each side for the front, or whether I'll go under the engine as well. I'll need to wait and see how things are going to work for that. But there'll be metal going that way, and then I'll have runners going up the side, and I think I might actually put a side rail on here, which I will either weld to the dumper side rail or drill bolt holes and then bolt it so that it's removable again. That's kind of the fine tunings that I haven't really thought fully through yet, so that's the plan. So I've got myself a sheet of 4mm ply that I've cut to the width here, so I'm going to go and cut it down into a strip. Basically I'm going to start at the depth. I might actually start a bit deeper than the depth of this, because I might have to go down low, but I don't want to lose any ground clearance, so I don't want this bracket going underneath to be any lower than the bottom of the sump, because I don't want to have any excuses for anything that I've done getting in the way of the tractor being used. So it'll basically come along the top of this and then drop down a bit, so it'll have to have a bit of depth in it, but that's the plan. So I'm going to go and get cracking at that, and we'll see how it goes. Right, so I'm in the process of, here's the start of my template, so obviously just something easily moldable and something that's not too precious to give us rough ideas of what metal we're going to use. I've never actually done this is my first time doing this sort of stuff, so if I go wrong, please let me know. But it's basically a case of trying to get it to fit and keep adjusting, keep marking till you think it's got a good enough fit where you're wanting to actually cut the metal out to follow the shape, and then you've got your template. So we shall see how it goes, but it'll be a bit of a boring process, but a bit of a footery boring process. But if you want to do things like this is what you've got to do. So it doesn't help when, there we go. Right, so we're getting a bit there, so we need a bit more chunked out of the middle, but I've got a marker here, so I don't really want to cut any more. Basically we'll be about there, so I don't really want to cut too much more out of what I've cut here sideways. Maybe a wee touch to get up past this rib, but there'll be a bit of a down. and then around. So again, I don't want to cut too much off at the moment. Guessing, I would rather get a rough idea of the shape. But then down there we can sort of cut a bit more. We can cut quite a chunk off there actually. I suspect it's going to be quite narrow in the middle there. So I'm just kind of marking what I think, and I'll go around, do it on the other side. So like I say, quite boring, but it needs done. So again, this side I don't really want to cut too much off. go. Right, that's my first template done, so kind of see this is this side. I've cut a wee bit much out of there. There's ribs here that were getting in my way, but what I think when it comes to the metal, when I cut it out, I'm going to add 15mm this way, so that I've got plenty of meat for this bolt and that bolt, and then I can just cut a wee slice out for the fins. This I wouldn't really want. Possibly if I want to take any more for ground clearance, I can take it off, but I don't think this is any lower than the bottom of the middle of the sump. It's a wee bit lower than what's there, but a wee bit further forwards, a wee bit lower, so I don't think it's going to make enough difference to worry about, and cutting any more away, it's going to take a little bit of strength, so I think we'll leave it how it is. And then on the far side, same again, we've got cut a wee bit too much there, so I'll pack it out to there from this bit upwards, so that we've got a wee groove for the fins. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's not bad. So let's see if I'm as clean with the grinder or the plasma cutter or whatever I'm cut it out with. Probably won't be me, it'll be one of my friends. Never done enough to justify doing that, so see how it goes. Right, happy days, that's one done. Let's get on with the next one. Right, this one hopefully is just a wee big V out the middle, but we'll see. My biggest problem here is on the inside of the side rails, there's a bit of metal that was cut off, about 2-inch box section, and it's not been cut flush, so it's kind of in the way of where I need it to be really, but I'm going to give it a bash and see what I can figure out as best as I can. this one plus 15. So we've got the shape. We'll add a wee bit on there, add a bit here and there, then we're good to go. So I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. That's, other than that wee split there, but to be honest, it's not a big deal. So that's left, front, right, back. Right, okay. Well, that's really pretty excellent, to be honest with you, because now I know how much. So I need enough steel to make both of these, plus I will then also have side rails going up here. So they're 600 by 15 mil, 150 mil, sorry, times 2. But then I'm also thinking of putting fillers running, so like this. See if that'll stay. Probably not. Right, oh, Jesus. Basically that'll be like that under the engine. Side rails, my arm is a side rail, but then on both I think I'll put another support between them. I just think it's going to hold everything far more solid, and it's not going to use a heck of a lot of material. There'll be another, not even 60 centimeters. What have we got between these two? So there'll be about 470 mil there on that side. So I'm not going to need a heck of a lot of steel to make this cradle. I'm going to need to get a lot better at welding, but luckily for me I've got pals that are very good at that sort of stuff, and especially the thicker stuff. I've never really done anything before. I did little bits on my Land Rover before when I had my Defender project. I welded my diesel tank on the Ford 4000, which actually never ever leaked after I welded it, so I must have done something right. But I've never actually tackled anything properly structural, which I would really love to do, but at the same time I don't want to be practicing and making a cod of something on something that is actually important structurally. I know I need to get better somehow, but I don't think this is the time to be practicing. So this will probably be one where I might give my pals a shout, and even if they guide me and make sure that I'm doing it right, so that I can, like, if they're here showing me, and if I'm making a cod of it, they can take over. But I'm pretty happy with how things are. It's actually getting to the exciting stage where things might actually start happening and things might get bolted to things, and the actual tandem might actually start happening. So the biggest problem now is actually getting somewhere to put it, because I don't know if it's going to fit in here. I know they're both in here at the moment, but lengthwise, maybe if I take it in and steer it so it's shaped like a V, I might, but I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, pretty pleased with that. Happy days.